The mystery of the fall of the Hopewell people. Was a cosmic catastrophe responsible for their destruction? Around 100 BC, the Hopewell culture emerged in the eastern United States. After 600 years of dominance, this civilization ceased to exist for reasons still unexplained. Scientists have cited wars and climate change as possible causes of its decline, but now they have a new suspect, a comet. More than 1,500 years ago, the eastern United States was occupied by a pre-Columbian culture known as the Hopewell. For reasons still unexplained, this culture collapsed. For years, scientists believed that wars or climate change were responsible for the Hopewell's demise. But researchers at the University of Cincinnati have found evidence suggesting a different explanation. At 11 archaeological sites associated with the Hopewell culture, located in 3 different U.S. states, Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, researchers found unusual concentrations of iridium and platinum, characteristic traces of meteorite fragments. Furthermore, a layer of charcoal in the sediment suggests an intense period of high temperatures. All this suggests that a cosmic rock may have contributed to the decline of the Hopewell culture, destroying the areas occupied by the culture's members. The results of the new research were published in the journal Scientific Reports. The new hypothesis of scientists is as follows: between 252 and 383 AD, a comet passed over the eastern territories of the United States, fragments of which struck in many places, causing widespread destruction. At 11 archaeological sites once inhabited by the Hopewell culture, researchers found rare metals such as iridium and platinum, as well as fragments of iron and stone meteorites called pallasites. A layer of charcoal was also found at these sites, indicating that the Earth had been exposed to high temperatures. The scientists note that the traces they found constitute a chemical fingerprint. Cosmic events, such as asteroids and comet explosions, leave behind large amounts of a rare element known as platinum. The problem is that platinum also occurs after volcanic eruptions. Therefore, we are also looking for another rare element associated with extraterrestrial events, iridium. In these cases, we found both platinum and iridium, says Kenneth Tankersley from the University of Cincinnati in Ohio. According to the authors of the publication, the traces they found provide strong evidence that the area they studied experienced a cosmic catastrophe. No craters were found, and the area of platinum and iridium concentration, along with traces of ancient fires, covers a vast area. Therefore, scientists believe the comet did not impact Earth, but exploded in the atmosphere or, while passing through, grazed Earth's atmosphere, and bounced back into space. The resulting atmospheric explosions and the fragments of the comet that fell to the surface caused massive fires that may have covered over 23,000 square kilometers. Scientists radiocarbon dated the charcoal layers. They estimate the event occurred between 252 and 383 AD. Historical records by Chinese astronomers show that 69 near-Earth comets were documented during this period. The authors believe that most Hopewell culture inhabitants survived the cosmic catastrophe, but the resulting fires devastated the villages and surrounding landscape, likely leading to the decline of agriculture. However, stories about the comet persisted among members of various Hopewell culture tribes. Iroquois and Algonquian stories mention a strange catastrophe, in which fire fell from the sky to earth. It's fascinating that many different tribes have similar stories surrounding this event, explains Tankersley. The Miami tribe tells of a horned serpent that flew across the sky and dropped stones on land before falling into the river. The Shawnee tribe, on the other hand, refer to a celestial panther that had the power to raise forests. The Ottawa tribe tells of the day the sun fell from the sky, adds Tankersley. There are other clues that seem to support the researchers' theory. Meteorite fragments have been found in jewelry and musical instruments left by the Hopewell culture. The Hopewell culture also built a comet-shaped earth mound near the epicenter of the meteorite shower. What is the optimal amount of sleep? Scientists have determined how much sleep middle-aged and older people should get. We spend 1/3 of our lives in bed. And for good reason. Sleep is linked to a number of cognitive and physiological processes in the body, and a deficiency, and sometimes an excess, can have undesirable health consequences. As we age, we may experience changes in our sleep patterns, and knowing how much sleep is optimal for healthy functioning becomes crucial. In new research, scientists have determined that 7 hours is the ideal amount of sleep for middle-aged and older people. Sleep plays an important role in maintaining good mental health and cognitive function. It also helps maintain a healthy brain by eliminating waste products. However, as we age, we often observe changes in sleep patterns, including difficulty falling asleep, shorter sleep duration, and poorer sleep quality. This can be associated with poorer cognitive performance and poorer mental health, including anxiety and depression. In a new study published in Nature Aging, researchers from the University of Cambridge and Fudan University in China determined how much sleep middle-aged people need to maintain good health. They analyzed data from the UK Biobank, collected from nearly 500,000 adults aged 38 to 73. Participants were questioned about their sleep patterns, mental health, and well-being, and took a series of cognitive tests. Brain imaging and genetic data were available for nearly 40,000 study participants. Analyzing the data, the researchers concluded that both sleep deprivation and excess were associated with impaired cognitive functions, such as processing speed, visual attention, memory, and problem-solving skills. 7 hours of sleep per night was the optimal amount of sleep for cognitive performance, but also for good mental health for middle-aged and older adults. Interestingly, study participants reported anxiety, depression, and a general decline in well-being when they slept too much or too little. Participants who slept approximately 7 hours per night without major disruptions to their daily sleep patterns over time had better cognitive performance and improved mental health and overall well-being. More or less sleep appeared to be associated with cognitive impairment. Scientists suggest that one possible reason for the link between insufficient sleep and cognitive decline may be disruption of slow-wave sleep, a deep sleep phase responsible for the body's regeneration. Disruption of this sleep phase has been shown to be closely linked to memory consolidation and the accumulation of amyloid, a key brain protein characteristic of some forms of dementia. Furthermore, sleep deprivation can make it more difficult for the brain to eliminate toxins. The study authors also found a link between sleep quantity and changes in the volume of key brain regions involved in cognitive processing and memory. They speculate that changes in brain volume and other genetic mechanisms may underlie changes in cognitive and mental health in people who had varying sleep durations over long periods. Getting a consistent 7 hours of sleep each night, without excessive disruption, was also important for cognitive performance and good mental health and well-being. Previous studies have shown that interrupted sleep can increase inflammation in the body, which indicates that older people are more susceptible to age-related diseases. While we can't definitively say that too little or too much sleep causes cognitive problems, our analysis, looking at participants over a longer period of time, seems to support the concept. However, the reasons why older people have poorer sleep appear to be complex, influenced by a combination of our genes and brain structure, said Professor Jianfeng Feng of Fudan University in China. The findings suggest that insufficient or excessive sleep duration may be a risk factor for cognitive decline as we age. This supports previous research that has shown a link between sleep duration and the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and dementia, which is characterized by cognitive decline. Good sleep is important at every stage of life, but especially as we age. Finding ways to improve sleep for older people could be crucial to helping them maintain good mental health and well-being and avoid cognitive decline, particularly in patients with mental health conditions and dementia, said Professor Barbara Sahakian from the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Cambridge, one of the study's authors.